Hello there, and welcome back to the This Is an Album podcast with myself, Jacob Green, and my wonderful friend, as always, Reese Hemming. This is the podcast where we talk about albums that me and Reese both recommend and bring for the other to listen to. We just sit and talk about it. And this week is a banger. It's an absolute banger, as every week so far has been. This week is courtesy of Reese, and it is The Mouse and the Mask by DangerDoom. I really enjoyed listening to this album, and I'm very excited to talk about it. But before we do that, just a couple of things. And this introduction is going to be slightly longer because I have a little surprise for Reese.
I'm nervous.
That I'll get onto in a bit. But yeah, so the way this podcast works is that obviously we talk about an album, but in between we have a nice little interval section where we have a weird and wonderful segment where one of us will bring some music or a video featuring music or absolutely anything involving music that is weird and wonderful for the other to react to. And so this week is kind of a joint effort between me and Reese, as we spoke about at the end of the last podcast.
Yep.
It's just me being a fucking idiot for a bit, so you can look forward to that. There is also a penalty word section within this podcast, as there have been in every podcast so far, where Reese and I have written down a word or a name or a phrase or anything that we think the other person will say, and if the other person says it, then a forfeit is due at the beginning of the next podcast. So if you have any ideas or want to see me and Reese do something that isn't illegal, please let us know. Send us some ideas.
Or at least like on the line of being illegal.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not even going to suggest any.
No, don't do that.
And finally, there are some swear words in this podcast, as I have just sworn. So I probably should have said that before swearing, but you know.
You do the disclaimer after you've already exclaimed.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
So yeah, apologies. Not apologies if you don't care. So, but yeah, so that's the general setup of this podcast, and I wanted to just take a moment. So it was my 22nd birthday on Tuesday, and
everyone say happy birthday to Jacob. Happy birthday to you.
Blah 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 blah. And my parents decided to get me a lovely surprise that was related to the podcast.
God, okay. I genuinely don't know what this is, by the way. What the...
It's a Gary Barlow official 2019 calendar featuring such images.
You haven't opened it yet.
No,
it's
I
still
haven't.
Fresh.
I thought I'd do an unboxing. This podcast
beautiful.
is a unboxing / podcast
unbelievable
channel. This is where it takes me about half an hour to do it, and I'm embarrassed myself. I have no career.
It doesn't make for good listening if you're.
No, it doesn't. You're just gonna hear the rustling of plastic.
And the odd fuck Gary Barlow.
You know what? We'll. I'm not gonna open this now because it's gonna take me forever because he's a prick and he's packaged it like a twat. So, thanks, Gary.
Maybe that can be a separate video. We'll do a separate video of the Gary Barlow.
And just to add insult to injury, I have a candle that says "This smells like Gary Barlow." It's from Wanky Candles, and
oh my god, Wanky Candles.
I think it's vanilla scented, but I don't think Gary Barlow smells like vanilla.
No,
I think. Yeah,
I think he smells like wet mud.
You get that vibe, or like someone who puts on way too much hair gel.
Yeah,
just a bit grim.
Yeah.
So as always, fuck you, Gary Barlow. But I will be looking at this calendar every day and using it instead of my Google Calendar. Yeah. I'll probably carry it around with me everywhere. So if someone says, "What are you doing on this day?" I'll just whip out the Gary Barlow calendar. Yeah. Check my dates. Busy man. Got a lot of places to be. And finally, before we talk about this fantastic album, I'm a twat, as we all know. But for the past...
This is well documented.
What episode is this? 5?
5 now.
So for the past 4 episodes, I've been using my microphone wrong. It's been the wrong way around the entire time. Do feel free to send some hate my way, because I think as a musician, I think I deserve it for such an error.
Yeah.
So
You deserve all the hate you get.
yeah, and you know it's I can't say anything else, but I'm sorry. Which takes us ever so nicely onto this week's album, episode 5, which is Reese.
Is The Mouse and the Mask by DangerDoom. Let's do it. So I bought this one.
You did.
To you. This is an album. I actually can't remember when I first heard this. I feel like I've always listened to this album. DangerDoom is a collaboration project between producer Danger Mouse and rapper MC MF Doom, who I'm a massive fan of. I'm a big MF fan. In fact, I've been wearing an MF Doom ring for the past.
Oh,
but that's what that is.
That's the ring.
Yeah, so I've
of course.
So I've had this since like the beginning of this year, so huge Doom fan. Unfortunately and very sadly, he did pass away last year, and the news of that only came out February, I think, this year. So yeah, it was really sad news. Yeah, I mean, since then I've been listening to him even more than I did before, so thought it'd be nice to bring up this album. This is definitely my favourite of his, which maybe true hip-hop and Doom fans would maybe not be very pleased about, that this is probably my favourite Doom album.
Right.
But it is, so suck it.
Fuck off.
So, as I've already said, I'm a massive fan. Jacob, first thoughts.
I loved this.
Okay.
I loved it. I always hip hop is like I love it. Like when it's on, I think it's great. And it's for some reason it's never a genre that I like actively go and listen to.
That's fair. Me neither, to be honest with you. I mean, I was thinking before we started recording that in terms of just straight ahead hip hop, rap music, whatever you want to call it, I listen to probably less than 3 or 4 artists that I could actually list that I really like. You know, that isn't just like a song with a rap verse in it.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I just, I absolutely loved it. And the first thing that really struck me about this album is that it was released in 2005. And I would have said it was the past decade.
Yeah.
Like within the past decade of it being like, because the production on it is insane. I thought it was so good. And
yeah. So Danger Mouse is the producer.
Yeah.
He wrote and produced the whole album, I believe.
Oh wow! Okay.
And then obviously, well, I don't know if he wrote. He obviously didn't write all of Doom's parts; they're all his. But I think majority of all the sort of samples and everything that he used is Danger Mouse's influence.
Right. Okay.
Which is really cool. And yeah, he is. And I told you specifically.
Oh yeah, you told me not to look
into him. So Danger Mouse, who I'd heard of not just because of the cartoon.
Yeah, I did think, is there a connection?
We'll get on to the cartoon side of everything, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, he's not the guy that was the voice of Danger Mouse.
A weird crossover.
But he, so the reason he's called Danger Mouse is because when he first started out like performing on stage, he was essentially too shy to perform as himself,
right?
And he wore a full mouse outfit, like not just a mask, like a full mouse outfit, and that was like his thing.
That's one way to do it.
And he got sort of famous through I think it's his first release, which is called the Grey Album.
Okay.
And the Grey Album was a mixture of Jay-Z's vocals over the White Album by the Beatles.
Oh wow!
And I want to play you a bit.
Please do.
So I think Jay-Z's album was called the Black Album, I think.
Okay.
Or it was known as it, and then obviously the Beatles had the White.
Right. So he's okay.
And his like first release in 2004. That might not be right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he probably had releases before that, but this is what he got sort of big by. Okay. So this is.
I'm really excited.
So this.
I love the artwork. It's great.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? So yeah, it's 99 Problems over I can't remember which Beatles track is.
You having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. I got the rap patrol on the Gap patrol. Foes that want to make sure my casket's closed. Rap critics to say he's money cash holes. I'm from the hood, stupid, what type of facts are those? If you grew up with holes in your zap,
This is nuts.
Isn't it?
That is
Helter-
nuts.
Helter Skelter.
That is so cool.
So he's got like a whole album of that, and it's got 99 Problems.
Oh,
and
that's
the other.
amazing. Oh, I've got to listen to this.
So that's really
great.
interesting. The other very interesting thing about Danger Mouse, among many things, is so you know CeeLo Green is featured on one of these songs on this album. Danger Mouse and CeeLo Green were the duo known as Gnarls Barkley.
So
So
I think I did know that CeeLo Green was
I thought,
a member of that collective.
I thought that CeeLo Green's past his previous name was Gnarls Barkley, and that was what he went by. That's what I thought.
Right.
But it turns out
that's
Gnarls,
sick. That...
Gnarls Barkley is like a duo project between
That's cool.
CeeLo and Danger Mouse, which is really cool.
Right.
So
that's a nuts collaboration.
So he wrote and produced Crazy.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Which is mad. But
that's crazy.
Also, he also helped write and produce. Here's a few.
Dude, this mouse is balling.
Yeah, man.
Jesus. This mouse is rich.
Feel Good Inc. Gorillaz.
What? Okay.
He wrote and produced that.
Right.
He was the producer on The Getaway by the Chili Peppers.
Wait, is he the guy that does the rap verse on Feel Good?
I don't think so. I don't think he is a vocalist as well. I don't think he raps.
Right.
He produced all of the Black Keys albums.
What the fuck?
Like El Camino, all the famous Black Keys stuff, and Songs of Innocence by U2.
What the fuck? This guy is sick. Oh, I'm so glad you didn't tell me to investigate. That is such a nice surprise.
Yeah, mad, isn't it?
That's incredible. I'm gonna look into that now that I'm allowed to.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't
that's
it?
fucking. I would not have called the Black Keys or U2.
No, he's got 8 Grammys.
Jesus.
He was on Adele's 25 as well.
Of course he was.
So anyway,
that's incredible. What a guy.
Yeah, I know. Cool.
I mean, and that's probably why I thought that this album was produced in the last decade, because it sounds so good.
Yeah, it does sound awesome.
It's fucking brilliant. I remember messaging you through the week and just sort of being like, I personally struggle with. I think sometimes the reason why I don't actively listen to hip hop is because a lot of the time I listen to music when I'm doing something, like when I'm working, or if I'm doing something and it's just kind of in the background. But I always struggle lyrically with hip hop in terms of, because I in songs I love listening to the lyrical content and kind of what the song's about. But when I'm trying to work and do something, and then there's so much lyrical content in a hip hop track, especially on this album, I find it hard to keep up, and then I just get my brain just gets all confused and foggy, and I'm like, I did it and then I just turn it off. I just turn it off and put something that's a little bit more easy listening lyrically, and because I could listen to the beats all day. Like the beats on this album are phenomenal. Like they're so good, but just and I think like to really appreciate it, I would have to just sit down and listen instead of doing something and having it on the background.
Yeah, I think I had a very similar thing when I first listened to this, I think, where I think the initial thing that I really liked about it, which I think most people would pick up on straight away, is just the cartoon.
It's genius.
Story that goes throughout the whole thing.
Genius.
And all the little sort of bits that they have, with the characters from. So, it's from a show called Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yes, because I was trying to find, because I thought it was then different cartoons, because I found that it was Cartoon Network and Adult Swim like sort of championed this album quite heavily.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, exactly.
And so I was then thinking, because it was the two sort of networks that was sort of had a big promotion sort of point on this, I thought that they were cartoons from the different networks, but it then turns out that it's just the one cartoon that's kind of the main movement theme throughout.
So all the sort of characters, so like the main so throughout the album, when you listen to it, hopefully you guys will go away and listen to the album, but the kind of the main theme going throughout the whole album is obviously Doom has all of his lyrics on all on the songs, and then in between, every now and then, sort of at the end of tracks or as little interludes in the middle, there's like this cartoon voice that is trying to get on the album, essentially.
It's the
and that character is what's his name? Shake, right? So the character's name is Master Shake, right?
Yeah.
And Master Shake is a character. So I had to look all this up because I didn't know any of this. Master Shake is a character from the show Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which was on Adult Swim. It started in like 2000.
Yeah.
And the show is about a guy called Carl, who is also a voice on this album as well, like that does sort of bits. And the show is about a guy called Carl, and he lives next door to three. They describe it as anthropomorphic, which basically just means like figments of his imagination live next door to him.
Oh, that's cool.
And those things are fast food ingredients. So there's Master Shake. So there's Master Shake.
Right, that makes sense.
Is a milkshake. There's Meatwad, who's a meatball.
Nice.
And Frylock.
Nice.
Frylock, which is...
That's a good Dungeons and Dragons name.
Yes. Yeah, it is actually. And all three of those characters are like featured throughout this album.
Right, okay.
But Master Shake is the main character who's trying to get onto the album. And he is like... I've been trying to call you. Maybe you're in the shower. You're in the shower. All right, I'll ring you tomorrow.
It's the ending of The Mask that is, I think, the funniest.
Yeah, it's so good.
Head on straight, mask on crooked. Exit stage left with the cash gone, took it. Off like a goofy, the fit was a bit doofy. He tried to get screwy with that 2 for you, 1 2 for me, G. Come to cranky attitude, wet him like a handkerchief on a stanky fatter dude. Whether use a
when I first heard the voices, I for some reason I just pictured the aliens from Space Jam.
Oh, okay.
They kind of the voice just reminded me of them. But I like the fast food premise. That's good. I'm going to watch this cartoon now as well.
Well, it's funny actually, the fact that this cartoon's based on fast food is funny, because another album that Doom. This could be a really long podcast.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff out there.
I could really go on. But
well, we could do a part. We can do a part 2. We'll do a part 2.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. He has another album which is just called Food, and
Nice.
and it's basically, and the whole album, all of his lyrics are just based on food.
Amazing.
Which is sick.
But
here's. Should we listen? Do you want to listen to the end of the mask a little bit?
So good.
Check me out, my name is Brack, and that's a fact. I got a mom and a dad and the yard out back. We sit by the pool and we nibble on snacks. Then we eat a big lunch and we all take naps. Why'd the beat stop? Hey! Hey! I got a mask too, so give me the mic!
You're no Doom.
Come on, Danger Mouse, give me that beat. On the bed around, love to hear percussion.
You suck.
Turn it upside down. Love to hear
I know talent.
And you ain't got it.
I wasn't done.
I wasn't done. But it's so good how, like, the tracks are sick, and then you just suddenly it's just that at the end, and you're suddenly, what is happening? But then you kind of listen to it start to finish, and they're like, obviously there's then the running theme of it's not just random cartoon snippets or samples.
Yeah.
It's like a whole it's like its own audible cartoon through an album.
Yeah,
which is
it's
just
so cool.
and it could be its own episode.
Yeah.
And
Do you wanna-
I love it.
Do you want to see a bit of the cartoon? See what it
Yeah.
Here we go. This is what it's the trippiest thing I've ever
Oh
seen
my
in my
god.
life.
Okay, this is not what I was expecting.
No, that's Master Shake.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Carl, how's it going?
Oh, yeah. Good morning to you there, Mr. Food Monster. This is how it's going. Look at my frickin' car. It is crushed to bejesus and back.
Have you gotten any estimates?
Oh, for the friggin'... I just found it this way.
Carl.
I just walked out here for friggin'
Ferociously.
Fuck.
Yeah. So let me show you. Let's find Meatwad. Where is he? Okay, here we go.
Oh,
So
look at him.
So that's Frylock.
Frylock is that's a cool depiction of fries.
Yeah, and then that's Meatwad.
Get the door, Meatwad. It's Dracula.
I'm gonna get it. You get it.
I'll get it. Hey, Carl.
Carl, hey!
Good morning, Carl. Yeah, it is a good morning there, little man. It's 3 in the morning.
Carl, did you see our flag? Pretty boss, huh?
Look, all I know is that this cord here was plugged into my house. Go back to sleep, you freaks.
Number one in the hood, G.
Do you recognise
Wow.
that sample at the end then?
No.
That number one in the hood, G. That's in one of the songs as well.
Oh, is it?
He often wondered, should he get the logo tatted to his woody? He could be
Number one in the hood, G.
Yeah,
Oh, sick.
easy.
yeah. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Looking into the cartoon that it's based on, I
Yeah.
found really interesting.
No, I am. The other thing that I really liked throughout, like I said earlier, the beats. Like, I could just listen to this album instrumentally, happily. Like the beats and the samples that are used. And it was old school rules that I was like, I know this song.
Yeah,
I knew, and I was like, why do I know this song, having never heard this album before? And I realised that it's a sample of Funk Fanfare.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
And I was like that, and I had to obviously just look it up to check. But I was like, oh, that's sick that he's like kind of turned it into his own version of that, using that sample.
In the rain, nose runny, break dancing maybe 10. Bummy is when sub rock would run up handspring, Arabian summy. Ooh, like a Hong Kong Fooey kick, or a weekend afternoon karate movie flick. Slept good, no justice, no peace.
But it's
Woody
funny
kept it
because the
hoodie.
point of the point of it, the message of the song, I guess, is the fact that it is like old school hip hop. You know, and it's classic. I mean, this has been sampled a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
It's just everything. Like every other kind of lyrical content that I've liked that we've mentioned in this podcast, it's just really on the nose and
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
and just simple. I don't know. It's like the whole thing's just a cartoon in itself. It's cool.
I had a question whilst I thought of whilst looking at the cartoon side of this, and
Oh, yeah.
my question to you is what cartoon or like piece of visual media was you used for a concept album?
Oh wow,
It's a big question, I know.
that's a very big question, and
I think I mean, there's an obvious one, and I would love to hear you make a concept album on it.
what, a SpongeBob?
Yeah.
yeah, that would be good.
I mean, although the soundtrack and music for SpongeBob is already pretty spot on.
There's some good trap versions of it already.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. What other? Do you know what? I think Dexter's Lab. I think I do.
That would be a good one.
Because all the voices are really like corny cartoon voices.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? But he's got all the like laboratory noises as well.
Yeah, and you could use those as like an intro, and yeah, that's a really good shout, actually.
I'm pretty proud of that.
That's a really good
isn't it?
shout. That was a very good shout.
What about you? Top that.
Mine would be adventure. Mine would just be Adventure Time, because there are so many just incredible little stupid dialogues in that in that show, and also I feel like you could go in, like, although it's a kind of concept album, I reckon you could really push the boundaries with the types of genres that you throw in there. You could just go really oddball out there with it. and then tie it into something completely different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did think that I did nearly today like write a track solely to then put some cartoon samples in. It's just great, and like I said, it just moves through like it's its own show, and when it comes in and out like the cartoon samples, you don't really bat too much of an eyelid towards the end of it.
Yeah.
You're kind of hoping that more comes up.
Yeah, absolutely. I particularly like how it just doesn't take itself seriously at all. It's supposed to be quirky and, you know, just different.
No, absolutely. And I think that's why it works.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's still an incredible hip hop album, even with this kind of what could have been a concept that could have really made it way more stupid. And if it wasn't, if the lyrical content and the beats and the samples hadn't been as strong as they are, and they still had the like the cartoon stuff in, I think it would have been a bit of a wet album.
Yeah, but I think either way it suits Doom's catalogue as well.
Yeah,
because
100%.
I mean, obviously Danger Mouse as well, because he's called Danger Mouse. But but you know, Doom's whole career was based off. You know, he's called MF Doom because of oh my God, what's the cartoon character? Something Doom. Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom from whatever cartoon that was. Fans don't hate me.
Oh, what was it? It wasn't Hercules, was it?
Could be.
No, He-Man. Was it He-Man?
He-Man. I think it's He-Man. Yeah,
not Hercules. He-Man.
Doctor Doom. So yeah, his whole thing is based off Doctor Doom, which is
is it He-Man?
I think it's just.
He's just a Marvel character.
A character. From
Why?
Marvel,
no, it's Skeletor that I'm thinking of.
You're thinking of Skeletor, yeah, exactly.
Damn it.
In fact, you can even see the mask is.
The mask. Yeah, definitely.
So you know, and a lot of his, a lot of Doom's other stuff is you know, based on cartoon stuff, and he himself, you know, a lot of his music is has a theme of him being a villain. Like he has a album called Mad Villain, which is him and Madlib,
right?
Which is probably his most popular, you know, well received album. Definitely listen to that; it's so good.
Okay.
But yeah, so like he shows himself as like a villain.
Right,
in a lot of his stuff, which kind of matches with this a little bit, with Master Shake being sort of like, let me on the album, and he's being the villain, not letting him on.
Yeah,
it's just
No, definitely, it's a really strong kind of concept based album.
Yeah, definitely,
really strong.
What would you say? We tend to do this every episode. What would you say is your favourite song?
I think like. The ending to the Mask definitely is why it's one of my favorites. But I think the one that I wrote down as my, like, when I listened through the album, the first one that I wrote down as my favorite that stood out was Vats of Urine.
Oh wow! Okay.
I thought it was a great. I really liked that tune.
Before you flow, make sure you practice or you losing. You don't want to miss and let the cactus get to oozing. If any contestant splash, she's disqualified. Even if one drip should slide down the bottle side.
I just love him. I love that guy who does the intro voice as well. Like where he comes up a few times, and I love his voice.
So that voice, that's actually two characters, and they're from Aquatine Hunger Force as well, and they're like let me find a picture of them. They're essentially like Space Invader looking characters.
Okay, of course.
from outer space.
Makes sense.
In fact, I'm not going to be able to find it. Sod it.
I'll find it my own time. I'll just watch the cartoon.
Just watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like the villains of the show. So yeah, at the start of Vats of Urine.
The digital Vats of Urine.
Drink up, bitches! Taste our liquid gold.
You must respect yourself. Forced you wreck yourself.
Hey man, you made a rhyme!
Yes, it is, for I am a rap god from beyond the moon.
But like, I think it's because as well, instrumentally, that was one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think, obviously, I've mentioned The Mask and Old School Rules. The other two that I have down here that I've really liked were Perfect Hair and Space Hose.
Space Hose is one of my, I think probably my second favourite.
Yeah.
It's the instrumental. This is my favorite instrumental off the album.
It like the melody and the beat, I think, is why I really liked it as well.
It makes me think of like Hanna-Barbera style.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Scooby-Doo and the kind of like the spooky ghost sound. You know, it's so cool.
This is like they're in the mystery machine driving somewhere.
Exactly.
No other career choice, he dropped out. Since when the way out's included Zorak. Way back he used to rub his thorax and borax. I'm not the one that sold him to it. If he won't admit it, I'm not gonna hold him to it. It's all love and no hate though. For all that, the villain need to get his own late show. Do a monologue and jest with the guests. Mad Lib switch the beat and walk him to the desk. With Danger holding down the control room. Again, returning from
so good. But I could just sit here and listen to this album again. I love it.
Yeah. Do you know what? Since I sent this to you, like, I don't know when it was, this time last week probably.
Yeah.
I said, oh, let's do this one. I've probably listened to it like between like 5 and 7 times, like over and over again.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, go on. Your favourite.
I think my favourite, which is like, it's definitely the most commercial.
Right.
Is Benzie Box.
Is the one with CeeLo, right?
With the one with CeeLo on it. I just think it's so good.
Again, the spooky synths.
Exactly.
They wonder just who is he, but don't worry. Believe me, you'll get busy when it comes to poetry. He's got plenty, la la la.
Jump 'em in like jump rope.
Yeah.
Double dutch.
That's definitely. I think that's definitely one of the more melodic tracks.
It's like, I think it's the only song with a chorus.
I think it is, or at least with that kind of more than one human vocal.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'll agree that is a good tune.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is, I could go through each of these tracks and obviously just like pick like key bits from each that I like. But I think on the whole, Vat of Urine and Space Hose. Space Hose. Yeah. Those two were just the standouts, and I think it's because probably because they're next to each other. That I was obviously just doing something idly, honed in on Vats of Urine, and then Space Hose was right after. So I guess it kind of, but still a banger. Really, really
like them dudes in red shirts off Star Trek. Key Kirk, Key Spock, Key McCoy. Been B-boy since your judge first squeeze toys. Born to be the host with the most. When it's on. Space holes, coast to coast.
You think I'm just gonna?
What were you gonna say?
Just then? Doom?
I was going to say I think we're about halfway, if not a little bit over, because there's still a lot more I want to talk about.
Yeah, me too.
So I reckon we'll have a quick interval, and we I don't think we need to play the whole video of this interval.
No, I don't think we do.
So we can just skip through it a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is my performance at Love Supreme Festival.
Mm-hmm. It sounds really.
I performed at Love Supreme Festival, the funk and jazz and soul festival.
Really impressive.
I was on the same lineup as Earth, Wind and Fire, Moonchild, Tom Misch.
Yeah.
You know, it was no biggie.
No big deal.
No big deal.
You're just grateful to be there, weren't you, mate?
I was just very happy to be there.
Yeah. Well, here we go. This is Jacob. I don't know. What time was this? Probably like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, probably about that. Sounds about right.
Was this the same day as Backflip Kid?
Yeah.
We need to talk about Backflip Kid.
What a kid.
Backflip Kid, you're going to be like, how old will he be now, probably?
Probably about 12.
Creepy.
Probably about 12. No, probably not even 12. No.
Was he that young?
I thought he was about 8 when he was doing backflips.
I don't know. We were pissed. When we were at Love Supreme, whatever year this was, 2018.
Yeah.
There was a kid going round, and we, for some reason, kept bumping into him, and he was like going up to. He was probably like 10 or something.
Yeah. He was,
maybe younger, and he was like super confident, and he was going up to every single like group of girls, whether they were his age or not.
No matter what the age bracket of that group of
Absolute
girls was.
baller, and would just do a backflip in front of them.
He would just walk over and not say anything and just do a backflip. And 100% of the time, they would just be absolutely blown away. And then he'd just walk away. He'd just leave.
Yeah.
He'd just go to find another group. And me and Reese just kept on seeing him do it. And then there was a time where we were sat outside up against a fence having some food. And we were just sat on the floor and we saw him walk past. We were like, holy shit, it's backflip, kid. And he heard us and just did a backflip again. It was like, he just walked off.
On command, like that.
It was so good. And then obviously, because we went, oh shit, it's backflip, kid, really loudly, a lot of people looked and they just saw this kid do a backflip. And then honestly, such a cool kid.
Backflip kid, if you're listening, you're not. You never will do. But we've told that story many times.
Oh, so good.
And we love you for it.
Thank you, backflip kid.
Thank you, backflip kid. Right, so anyway, so this was...
I think you've put it just after my pun.
Is it? Okay,
I've got anything to say, Jacob? So, I mean, hang on, should I record this? Is it good?
I had a look at the song list.
You are wasted. Listen to that.
I'm hammered, but do I put on a performance? Possibly.
And I was thinking about puns as well.
All right, go.
So I'm going to do, I'll beg you look good on the dance floor.
Sorry, guys. Hang on. I couldn't quite...
So, yeah,
that was the pretend one.
I'd do it again.
So he's going to do the gag again.
Let's just... Here we go.
I just shout. I do just shout the whole time.
Yeah.
2, 3.
I got upgraded to the wireless mic.
Making the eyes at me, I'm still making the eyes at you. And what it is that surprises me is that I don't really want you to. When your shoulders are frozen, you're an explosion.
Do you like how Misha, our good friend Misha, who was there with us, we love you, Misha. She in those little bits where you like do the little back and forth, she doesn't know the words, so just shouts.
She just goes woo.
Shoulders are frozen, you're an explosion.
I got a really bad stitch at this point, and I was like, in my head, I was like, this is way too early to get a stitch just from singing Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Chorus 2, here we go.
Yeah. It was so much fun. Like, I got such a rush off of that.
Yeah.
It really did my ego terrible things.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
Yeah, I was fully expecting after that to walk around the festival and people be like, oh my God, it's you, the guy from the Arbeg gig.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. It was you from the main stage.
You're not fooling anyone.
But yeah, that was such a great time. It was such a great festival.
Yeah, it really was.
Really enjoyed that. Good memories, good times. The only thing I regret about that is the height that I pulled my socks up. No one should ever have socks that high when they're wearing shorts. I've learnt my lesson. I'm just as disgusted as everyone else who's watching. And if you're listening, don't watch it because it's shambolic. Anyway, so moving swiftly back into this fantastic album, I think we have coincidentally both done or seen some similar bits of research.
Yeah. I wanted to, and I'd seen these videos before. There's this like YouTube channel where they will pick out the rhyming couplets or whatever you call it in different songs and like put them in different colors and you can see where all the rhymes are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason why I'm such a big Doom fan is because his rhyming patterns are just crazy. Like it's unbelievable. I have no idea how you can write lyrics like that. I just think it's unbelievable.
No,
like,
absolutely.
He'll have like 2 sentences, or 2 lines or whatever will be 10 words long or something, and each word and each line will rhyme with the next line, and that'll go on for like 10 lines. It's unbelievable.
So this is what for anyone wondering, and this was sent to me by the lovely Ollie Hedden, but the video is called the video that I saw anyway, that I found really sort of helped emphasize what you're saying, was Rapping Deconstructed, the best rhymes of all time. And it kind of talks about the way in which you have like internal rhymes, which is where it's like indeed followed by proceed, that kind of thing, where you've got like the double E in the word. And then you've got multi-syllable, which is the example they had was man made a fix, band-aid to fix. No, man made a mix, band-aid to fix. I'd be a terrible rapper because I can't even read. That's like man-made, band-aid, mix, fix. So there's like varying. And then the thing that I found crazy about when they spoke about MF Doom was the fact that he'll start a line and then halfway through he'll start like almost pre-rhyming to, like you say, the next line, and then he'll finish the rhyme from the start, and then it is just crazy. And the video is great because they also talk about other rappers, and it kind of made me definitely, watching this video made me appreciate the album more, because obviously you then understand the construction of it lyrically and how everything flows and fits. It's crazy. And when you kind of look at it in that sense, from like a grammatical sense, it's actually incredible.
It's such an art form.
It is. It's so hard to do.
Yeah, and I that makes a lot of sense, the way that it's not like they have 2 lines, that the last word rhymes with the last word of the next sentence, and then they do another 2 lines. Those 2 words will rhyme, but then middle, halfway through the second line, that will set up the next rhyme, which will carry on for the. It's nuts, and the kind of the example that I wanted to show was I couldn't find one of these. The videos are called Rhymes Highlighted,
right?
And I couldn't find one for this album, unfortunately. But Figaro, which is probably one of my favorite Doom songs, they have a video for that, and just look at all the colors of all the words that rhyme.
Correlate,
it's unbelievable.
The rest is empty with no brain, but the clever nerd, the best MC with no chain you ever heard. Take it from the Tech 9 holder. They bit, don't know they next shine from Shinola. Everything that glitter ain't fish scale. Let me think, don't let her faint, get Ishmael. A shot of Jack got her back, it's not an act stack. Forgot about the cackalack, holler back, clack, clack, blocker. Villainy, feel him in your heart, chocolate chart topper. Start shit stopper, be a smart shopper. Shot a cop day around the way, about the stable. Who to know is
so ridiculous.
Wonder where the shooter goes.
So good.
Get him, not a bet, dead him. Let him spit the venom, said him got a lot of shit with him. Let the rhythm hit him. It's stronger enough. The grannies ban me the dough rake. Daddy, the flow make her fatty shake. Patty cake for fake.
Good.
So you know what I mean, where it's like the long and short lines, where like he'll say something like this very quick phrase, and then he'll like have the longer one afterwards, which will carry it, which kind of gives it that smoothness. And the guy in the video that I watched was basically like, a lot of Doom stuff is like setups and punchlines.
Yeah, 100%.
And,
it really is.
And that kind of that again like makes you kind of understand it a bit more in terms of, and that's why it feels so good, I think, as an album. Like when you do listen to it lyrically, you like, it keeps you on your toes, because it's got this like level of, you don't know what the next setup is going to be, or you don't know if the punchline from 2 lines ago is going to repeat itself, or if he's set something up but he hasn't finished it, when's he going to finish it?
But it also really allows itself for being able to, even though everything it's like super intricate, when he does a setup, that's then a cue for like, oh, I remember the line that he does in like a few lines. That. So like, there's an example of that which I'll not be able to remember on the spot. So give me a minute to find it, but I'll put it in now.
Yeah. Laid it down like the best laid plan. Bell the cat, who the hell is that near the middle?
So there he says middle.
Yeah.
Around like 50 seconds in or something.
Right.
Cat, who the hell is that near the middle? Got y'all, but it's not all bear and skittles. Prepare the vittles, got riddles and spittles, crystal clear to the jot or the tittle. It's hot off the griddle. Came to take the cake, whether it's a lot or a little. Come on.
That's definitely...
and that's like 15 seconds of idles.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is just sick, and like it's so good. Someone called Entertainment Weekly called this album the Hip Hop Tour de France.
Okay.
which I think makes a lot of sense if you think about it in terms of like
I don't understand why.
Well, I mean the way I see it is like you've got like it's a bit of a marathon in terms of like its distance and how far like this album goes.
Yeah, true.
And I think obviously like Tour de France is like hills and mountains, maybe mountains. I don't watch the Tour de France, but I'm pretty sure there's mountains involved in the Tour de France. But like it's not like it's the kind of thing of like going up and then coming back down and like you go up to the top with his verses and then you're kind of gently coming down with the cartoon endings and stuff. Like that's how I saw it, and I really liked that idea of it being referred to as the hip hop Tour de France.
That makes a lot of sense.
Definitely, but like again, like I said at the beginning, like I did struggle with. Well, I still do struggle with the lyrical content of hip hop albums because I want to be able to hear everything. But I definitely recommend just kind of sitting down and listening to the lyrics on this.
Especially if you're an old cartoon fan as well.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's not just about Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
No.
There's mentions to Space Ghost, which is a cartoon that was on Cartoon Network in like, I wrote it down, I think it was the 70s or something.
Right.
What was it? Space Ghost was 66, and that was like the show that Cartoon Network put on like their late night.
Okay.
As kind of like a quirky adult cartoon sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the cartoons that kind of inspired Adult Swim, which is the adult version of Cartoon Network, basically.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's really cool.
So you know the character that's called Brack, the guy. In fact, the guy that does the rap at the end of The Mask. Mm-hmm. That's a character called Brack, who is from Space Ghost.
Right.
I doubt it's the same guy because it was from '66, but that's who the character is.
Right. Okay. See, that's the thing. There's just so many like really cool links.
If you are like in that kind of world, then you'd love this album even more than I do because
100%.
Because I'm having to research all this stuff, whereas if you've been watching Aqua Teen Hunger Force since since the 2000s, then you know what everything else is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean that's like our equivalent of if we had a SpongeBob sample or something like that.
Exactly. We'd be like, oh shit, that's from episode 12.
Yeah. I'm really happy that you kind of went into detail about the about Danger Mouse's career, because that's really cool. I think that's up there with one of the coolest things about this album for me.
It's awesome, isn't it?
It's so sick because obviously it kind of he's been involved in my favorite genres of music, and I would have had no idea. And I think this album is definitely a great foundation for me to now start exploring the rest of MF Doom's content.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I was gonna look at the Needle Drop, and he does a worst to best MF Doom discography.
Oh, okay.
And I was gonna watch that, but then I think what I'll do is I'll go in with my own thoughts to this episode.
Yeah.
To then watch the episode, because his back catalogue is so extensive with his own albums under MF Doom and all of the other sort of collaborative projects that he's got.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the only albums that he has that's just he has a couple albums just under himself,
right?
But the main two are the Food album, Food, that one there, 2004. And he has an album called Born Like This.
Right, okay. And he's still got some people. Oh, he's got Jay Dilla on one of them.
Yeah, Jay Dilla's on it.
Sorry, I did just quickly. I did notice on Food, the album cover, he's wearing like a green hoodie, like Doctor Doom.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But I think that's kind of why I like him so much, is because he doesn't take himself seriously, and it's almost like his music is. The music that he writes is just to show off how good he is.
I mean, yeah, if you kind of...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
if you had the talent, you just would. I think
what turns me off about a lot of rap music or just straight ahead hip hop stuff or whatever is a lot of the time the content, or it's for a specific group of people, or you know, do you know what I mean? Like some of the topics that can be like discussed in a lot of hip hop stuff is like, okay, I feel a bit uncomfortable listening to this, not because of, you know, maybe the language or whatever, but like, I don't know, it's not.
No,
it's
like
not
comparing. No, definitely no. But like just like with hip hop and grime and that kind of like the beats and the rapping and stuff like that. There are songs that have like, it kind of does put you off in terms of some of the lyrical content about like the topics that they can talk about in the way they do. I feel like, obviously, I haven't listened to enough hip hop, but I feel like someone who articulates certain issues well is like Kendrick.
Yeah.
And he'll articulate sort of certain things in a really powerful, clever way. And that's that area that he covers. But I feel like with Doom, it's kind of just universal in terms of what he talks about. And like, it's easy to follow. And I think that just the way in which he constructs his verses and stuff grammatically, for me, I think is really impressive, having looked into it. But yeah, and that's, I definitely think I'm really glad that you recommended this, because it's a great start for me in terms of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It was the first Doom album that I heard, and then from there I went on to everything else.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we've looked at this, because there's definitely a lot to sort of explore now, and I'm excited to do so.
Yes,
and I highly recommend everyone else who does so be listening to this podcast to to do the same, because it's amazing. And once again, I think we've picked a good album. Well, you've picked a good album.
We have. I have. It's a banger.
Absolutely. And I actually haven't thought of the next album.
That's all right.
So to be confirmed and continued with what album I bring next week. We'll see. It'll be a surprise for you lovely listeners.
It will. Absolutely.
Hell
and again, we've gotten to the end and not said penalty words. So
Oh yeah. So how about we play a game where we try and guess the other's penalty word?
Oh.
If we haven't said it already.
Why don't we play a different game where you're allowed to ask one question to try and get that word out?
To provoke that. Oh, I like that. Okay, all right, okay.
Maybe this can be an addition to the podcast.
I feel like I know what yours is if you've tried to get into my head. And I thought I was going to get in your head.
I have no idea what yours would be.
Well, alrighty then.
So, do you want to ask your question to me first? Your provoking question?
Oh, I threw a little hint in there, to be honest, but you didn't pick up on it.
Oh God, I'm a bit slow, so.
No, that's okay. Well, one of his characters is quite slow, actually.
One of the characters.
We've watched this. We've watched this Man together. It's a Man.
Is that your question?
I can't think of a question that's going to provoke it.
It's the worst game of charades ever.
This is.
It's a man.
What does this album and Cameron Diaz have in common?
Cameron Diaz? Oh, are you kidding me?
No,
you wanted me to talk about Jim Carrey in The Mask.
I thought you would, because I don't know. I thought I'd go a bit out there. I think I went a bit too far out there.
I don't.
I thought that because The Mask was such like a, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no,
tried
that's
to get in
fair
your
enough.
head.
So what? So your word for me was Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty far-fetched.
It was, and I didn't even make an attempt to draw the conversation towards Cameron Diaz or the film The Mask.
My word rhymes with fetch.
Stretch.
No.
Rhymes with fetch. This is why I'd be a terrible rapper.
Rhymes with fetch, and in between all of the songs, there's a little cartoon sketch. The word was sketch.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was actually quite a good one, because I could have easily said that.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I thought you would have gone for a cartoon like I went for an actor. And I thought, because of the Adult Swim relation, I thought you were going to go with something like Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Or like an Adult Swim cartoon. So I heavily avoided saying any Adult Swim cartoons. But yours was I think yours was a much better penalty word than mine.
Yeah. This is almost getting a bit boring now, isn't it?
It is.
Who's going to know more? We haven't got I haven't got any words.
We'd both make terrible rappers.
Yeah.
Although, you know...
Maybe we should both do a penalty.
Maybe. I mean, are we agreeing to do a forfeit at the next podcast, or are we going to...
I mean, we both technically said the words, so I guess we have to.
That's bollocks.
Fallen into my trap.
Wait a minute, you said my penalty word first.
Well, it doesn't matter about who said first.
All right, okay. Well, let's discuss. You and me can discuss in the week what we do about this.
Yeah. All right.
And we'll keep you guys posted.
In the meanwhile, actually, this is extremely long, but we are now officially on Spotify.
Yeah, we did it.
So we realised that you can only have so many minutes on SoundCloud without having to pay for it, and we're not paying for anything.
Yeah.
So I went through the rigmarole of getting us on Spotify. So we're on Spotify now. We even have a little trailer. So if you want to send your nan a little trailer of your favourite podcast, then
send it to anyone. It doesn't just have to be your nan. It can be your cat, your friends, your parent,
your cat friends,
anyone. Even I'd go as far as saying, go up to random people in the street, even in the current climate, and just force headphones on them and tell them to listen to the podcast. Because who's going to have an issue with that? Everyone.
No. Who would have an issue with listening to Jacob go, "Hello there"?
Hello there. That's that's gonna transfer into my day-to-day life very soon.
Social interactions.
Definitely. I'm gonna start every conversation with "Hello there," and then within 5 minutes start abusing Gary Barlow. I'm gonna hang it up right over there. It's gonna go right there next to the best band in the world. For those who can't see, I'm going to hang the calendar up on my wall.
Yes.
He's just such... Look at him. He's such a cock.
Anyway.
And we'll leave you with that. Well, yeah.
We'll leave you
with the thought of Gary Barlow being a prick.
Gary Barlow being nailed to the wall.
Jesus fucking hell, Reese.
Sorry, it's late. I'm hungry.
Now that's the way to end it. And I thought me telling everyone to fuck off at the end of the last episode was a bad way to end it.
Well,
on that note, we'll see you later.
We'll see you in the next episode for God knows what album it will be.
Who knows?
I'm sure it'll be a great one.
We'll see. Thank you for listening.
See you in the next one, everyone.
See you later. Bye-bye.